finish show. Move up right here. Come on. Let's finish show together.
Alrighty, Asante Sana Warden, and here in Harambe we like to say Twende, which means let's go. Jumbo friends, good morning and welcome aboard. My name is Mitchell. I'm going to be your safari guide today as we make our way through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. As we head out there, I do have a few quick safety reminders. Please keep those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle. Always remain seated. That's going to go for little ones as well. They need to remain on their bottoms the entire time. And then just be as respectful of the animals today as we possibly can be. Now we're going to be hanging back here just a bit longer before we head in, so while we wait, if you would like to take a quick look up above you, you'll find an animal spotting guide up there. I don't have a list of everything we may or may not be seeing. So very rarely seen by us in the wild. And this is an adolescent male we're finding. We can tell by the darkness of his coat. As the male bongo ages, he darkens over time. Females are going to have the lighter shade their whole life. But looks like that is all we'll see in the river, so we're going to move on from here and head into Safi River. It's home to a lot more aquatic animals. And out in the river, the water there is usually pretty clear. So if you want to look anywhere, I would recommend looking at the bottom of the river. You can maybe see someone running around down there. Actually, before you look too far into the water, you might want to look all over the land. We'll see a lot of pelicans here. These are pink-backed pelican. Now, they'll be pink year-round, but as mating season gets closer, the pink colors on their backs are going to be getting a lot brighter. It's almost like a little blush. They are one of the only tree-nesting pelican species, but they're also one of the smallest ones. They have an average wingspan that falls between 7 and 9 feet. We are coming up to see a few of the hippos that are here in the river today. They're going to be by the waterfalls in the very back along that rock wall. You can see maybe 4 or 5 of them there. And usually they're pretty social with their own species. They're called a float when they're found together. And the hippos, they are one of the world's largest land animals. They've been known to weigh as much as 5,500 pounds. Rather than swimming in the river, they prefer to run or jog along the bottom. Also to your left, you can find the Nile crocodile. The largest crocodilian species in Africa, second largest in the world. These guys usually weigh in at about 500 pounds and can grow to be between 16, even up to 20 feet in length. That's about the same length as a giraffe is tall. A really fascinating thing about them is they can all eat as much as half of their body weight in one single sitting. Mostly they just eat fish, but they're really not the pickiest of eaters. They are very opportunistic hunters and happen to have one of the strongest bite forces found in the animal kingdom. It is a bone-crushing bite force at 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. But when they want to, they are still a pretty gentle animal. After they lay their eggs, the mothers will roll the eggs around with their teeth, and that helps to soften the shells to be pretty much effortless for them to eventually hatch. So that is all we'll find in the river. Now we can head to the savannah, where the first thing we'll see is not an animal, but it's a cool leafless tree up ahead of us. That is a baobab tree. The same type of tree that Rafiki lives in Disney's The Lion King. One this big is said to be thousands of years old. Throughout these trees' lifetimes, they have earned two pretty cool nicknames. The first one is the upside down tree, because their tops look like their bottoms for around 9 months out of the year when they're leafless. But the other nickname they have is the Tree of Life. Inside the sponge-like interior of the baobab tree, they can hold up to 32,000 gallons of water at once. So during the dry season, they are very vital water sources for different horned animals or animals with tusks like an elephant. Moving a bit further into the savannah, this is the western half we're moving through. It's going to be a lot more open grasslands, and the animals here really rely on numbers to stay well protected, so we're looking for a few groups that might be out. We'll also probably be seeing some of Africa's more recognizable species here in the savannah. You can see one of them on the right side. Out through the trees, a couple wildebeest, the second most densely packed mammal in a group aside from us. The numbers in the wild can reach up to 1.5 million members per group. And a lot of animals out in the wild, when they're together, some of them have some pretty cool group names. Wildebeest are no exception. They have one of the weirder ones. They're called an implausibility if they're together. And one of the more commonly known things about them is that they are a migratory species. Every year between Kenya and Tanzania, wildebeest migrations range from 500 up to 1,000 miles. Many years ago, during one of their mass migrations, the dust they kicked up from their walk was seen all the way from outer space. Now we're catching up to a pretty cool predator. They're on the left, laying down in that rocky den. There's a pack of African painted dogs. And they are some of the most successful hunters in the entire world. They have an average hunting success rate that will fall between 80 and 90%. With their packs out in the wild, they do get to be a fairly decent size at about 20 members strong. They're going to be led by one alpha male and one alpha female. Also to our left side, we're coming up to the Ankole cattle. Those cattle tip to tip, their horns, they're about 8 feet in length. As big as they look, they're really light. They're mostly hollow on the inside. The only thing that is in their horns is a honeycomb type structure that houses a lot of blood vessels, which will then aid them in helping to regulate their body temperatures. If you don't quite prefer their name, the Ankole cattle, you can also use their second name, Watusi cattle. They get their Watusi name from the group of people who were the first to domesticate them. They're one of 2 domesticated species here, but they're also one of the oldest domesticated species in the world. So they're coming up on our left side. We're going to be seeing a couple sable antelope. Now these antelope here, they happen to be the symbol of our reserve because they're one of the only animals out here that actively choose to fight with a predator and defend their territory rather than running away. There's not a whole lot of fear in them. And similar to the painted dogs, they're one very herd-oriented animal that is led by one dominant male and one dominant female. When the herd moves to somewhere new, the male, he decides when they go, and the female, she will decide where they go. Just past them, we're coming up to see a dazzle of zebras. These are Hartman's Mountain zebra. Well, it's a really good look at one of the Maasai giraffe that's here. Maasai giraffe, they are the largest of the giraffe species. They're also the world's tallest land animal, with some adults stand as high as 20 feet tall. You can really tell with them that they're going to get most of their height from their neck. It'll make up around 10 feet in the adults. However, in the neck of a giraffe, they will still have the same amount of vertebrae as we have within our own. It's 7, except theirs is going to be a lot bigger. Theirs grow to be around a foot in length each. Now, a while back, we did find their closest relative, the okapi. Giraffe and okapi, they are so closely related for 2 main reasons. It's the shape of their skull and their prehensile tongue. They all have that prehensile tongue. It's just a fancy way of saying that their tongue is super strong and is super long. A giraffe's tongue is around 22 inches in length, and they will use their tongue to wrap around branches, pulling off the leaves, as well as cleaning their eyes, ears, and nose. And they're one of the only animals that can actually lick the inside of their own ears. I've seen a couple more come up on the left side. They're usually a pretty social animal. They call a tower if they're ever together. And one of my favorite things I like to mention about them, if you're ever given the opportunity to observe giraffe for a longer period of time, you'll see that they spend most of their day eating. A giraffe have a really big appetite, and they will eat, on average, for 22 hours a day. They don't get a whole lot of rest. They sleep only for around 30 minutes every night, and they break their time up into mini 5-minute power naps. For most of the time, giraffe just sleep standing up and with their eyes open. But coming up on the right side, we are here in elephant territory, just past those tall plants. You can see an African elephant, the world's largest land animal. It's not the greatest spot to get a good look at, but if you notice all over the body of this elephant, they like to cover themselves in dust and dirt and other stuff like that. That all just acts as a natural sunscreen. Elephants have some pretty sensitive skin. They prefer the rain or very cloudy days to be the most active. Actually, if you look to your left side, you can see a mandrill monkey there up in the grass. The same species that Rafiki is based off of. Just like Rafiki, they have that cool red and blue coloration on them. And as they get excited, they're going to get a bit brighter in color. And there's one more good look at this elephant here up ahead, and then we'll keep going. Hopefully find a few more on the other end of their territory. We do have a lot of ground to cover with them. So get into the other end of their territory. I would love to tell you about a really cool conservation project surrounding them. It's called the Elephants and the Bees Project. It started in Kenya quite a few years ago, and it involves a lot of farmers over there who were having a lot of difficulties with local herds of elephants running all over their crops. The farmers couldn't grow much and make enough money. So instead of resorting to poaching the elephants to control the herds, which unfortunately they often are, it's a big reason why their numbers have declined in the past. Instead of doing that, it was discovered that as big as an elephant is, they are terrified of bees and will run away just the sight or the sound of them. Farmers found this out and they would start to put up beehive fences all over their property. That's going to keep the elephants away while still protecting the herds and the crops. But then it will also give the farmers another form of income. They could sell the honey from the hives. It's a very nice example of some coexistence between us as humans and nature. Pretty big and also very popular conservation projects out there. Now we're going to be coming up on a couple more here to our left side. Like I was saying, they do really prefer the rain or very cloudy days. But out in the savannah, when there's not a lot of either of those, elephants have some nice ways to cool off. The biggest way they cool down is by flapping their ears back and forth. And just by doing that, they can lower their body temperatures by 15 degrees Fahrenheit. But another way elephants like to cool down is just by going for a swim. They love the water and are incredible swimmers. From what's been recorded, the African elephant, they can swim as far as 50 miles without any breaks. So reaching the other end of elephant territory, we're going to head past a flamboyance of flamingos. And these are the greater flamingo, the largest type, but full height will stand at just under 5 feet tall. And out of all flamingo species, this one is the lightest in shade of pink. When they hatch, flamingos, they're going to be a dark white, light gray color. But as they get older and they get bigger, they're going to get their pink color from a protein that's found in the microscopic brine shrimp in their diet. After they hatch, it will usually take about 2 years till they get their pink color. Right over here, we're moving into the eastern savanna. It's a lot more thick vegetation. It's similar to Little Laturi Forest. This is where we're coming across that second species of rhino that's here. We're coming up to a crash of white rhinos. Compared to the black rhino we already saw, fully grown the adult white rhino, they are double the size, weighing as much as 6,000 pounds. And they all like to shape their own horns, usually rubbing those horns on some rocks or maybe some trees. They're very unique and very different, only they will shape them. Other rhinos aren't about to doing that stuff. Similar to elephants, they also have that really sensitive skin, so they roll around in mud almost daily, and it's all just natural sunscreen. But for rhinos, it's also pretty good skincare. As the mud dries in their bodies, it will trap and suffocate any bugs or ticks they might not want. Eventually, they just shave them off on some rocks or trees. We are coming to see a pride of lions is here on the rocks to the left. Lions, they are a type of big cat, and a big thing that gives them the title of big cat is having the ability to roar. They can absolutely do that, and the lion's roar, it can be heard from as far as 6 miles away. So if you were in Magic Kingdom at Cinderella's castle, if there was no noise, you could actually hear them roar from these rocks. That male that we're finding that mane around his neck, it is a pretty short mane. These lions are probably a bit on the younger side. Once that mane of his has fully grown out, the mane alone weighs about 40 pounds. It is very nice that we are seeing them out at all. They're usually a really sleepy animal. Lions on average will sleep for 20 hours a day. They're much more active around dawn and dusk because it's a lot cooler. They don't expend as much energy overheating. But the night vision exceeds ours by 6 full times. As you can see, a third lion is another lioness. She's laying down up at the very top of the rocks there, looking above everyone else.
Oh, look at it right here. Up on the
So also to their left side, right along that rock wall, you're looking for a sonder of warthogs, the largest burrowing mammals in Africa. And I like to consider them to be the recyclers of nature because they will reuse another animal's burrow rather than digging their own. And they also will enter their burrows backwards with their tusks pointed outwards as to better defend themselves from any predators that might have to come across them. And there's one more thing here in the eastern savanna. They're not animals just yet, but coming up on our right side along this dirt path, you're looking for a clutch of ostrich eggs. The ostrich, it is the world's largest bird, so it makes sense they're going to lay the world's largest egg. Their eggs each weigh around 3 pounds, which is roughly the same weight as 24 chicken eggs. They're very strong as well. A full-grown man can stand right on top of it. Probably it's not going to break. left the savannah. We're here in the Magadi Glen where there's normally just one more animal. Out here we're coming up to the Nigerian dwarf goats. These goats are very playful and they are very social, so they can establish some good bonds and hierarchies within their societies. If you would like to get a bit more up close and personal with them, head over to Rafiki's Planet Watch and you'll find a petting zoo with some awesome Nigerian dwarf goats, as well as a few other species. They make up the affection section. Out there as well, there's an animation experience and an insider's look at the Animal Hospital Nutrition Center. It's a quick 5-minute train ride over there. Trains are going to run from 9:30 to 4:30. But now the time has come. We are headed back to the village and our safari is coming to a close. So I would like to say a quick thank you to you guys for coming on safaris today. I hope you got to see some of your favorite animals, learn something new that you can take home and share with any family and friends. Unfortunately, almost all the animals we saw are either out in the wild, critically endangered, facing some major habitat loss, or possibly both. If you would like to help them in any way you can, I'll leave you with this. I know you've probably heard it a million times before, but let's make it 1,000,001. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. It may not sound like much, but it is one of the biggest ways we can help make a difference all over this beautiful planet. As we near our dock, take a moment to gather all those personal belongings, double check your rows, double check your pockets. It is a pretty long walk back to Africa if you happen to forget something.
You guys have to share. You guys have to share this, okay?
would never do that. You know. I hope. I touched them. Maybe you have a stronger music.
did when I got photos of kids sitting there. I was not expecting that at all. Seeing some more of that. Well, looking at age, fingers crossed. How much time do you have before you yeah, I'll just have a little bit. Oh, okay. Okay. So this is that special, yeah, this is the clay from the, bring it in. Oh, I got a leaping photo of hello today. Yeah, that's only the second time I've seen it.
Va para baño, está baño.
Big birds.
Discovery Island travelers, in moments, we encourage you to gather around our avian specialists at the base of the Tree of Life for a unique journey of discovery, one that you can't see anywhere else except in the wild. Welcome to Winged Encounters.
Good morning, Discovery Island, and welcome to Winged Encounters. If you can hear the sound of my voice, that means you're at the right place and right time to enjoy our show. And we're here for just about 5 minutes. So come on over and see us. Some of the best spots to be are basically any open spots you can find here in front of us or to my side. We've got plenty of shade. We still have more birds coming on in. Now this is exactly what we are talking about, and those blue-throated macaws are soaring right over your heads right now. That's a really rare species I mentioned before. Fewer than 500 of them left in the wild today, which is why we help with their conservation efforts out in wild places, but we do have a lot of different species of macaw out here right now, and they're about to take off on their next adventure, so keep your thumbs in with us as they head off. Wow, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much for being
Hello, Donald. Good to see you. Oh boy. Oh boy. Thank you. Morning, Chip. How we doing today? Good morning, Dale. Good to see you.